Right, weekend number 2. It is bank holiday weekend, so instead of getting more work done, I'm just going to waste more time, as is normally the case. Last weekend, we finished with the car running. But we also had 2 error codes, which came up from nowhere. And I'm going to have to admit, it's all my fault. Let me show you. If you remember right at the very beginning, when we were checking everything, I said, I'll just check those fuses to make sure they're okay. I took them all out, and I checked them, and I put them all back in the wrong place.
You are an idiot!
That one should be there, that one should be there, that one should be there. That one's not used. I was obviously paying so much attention to them being in the right order. When I took them out, I thought, oh, it's four places. And then I started from the end and then worked towards me. I wasn't really paying attention.
So pay attention.
That one is for the power steering, which is exactly what it's complaining about. So let's move all those down. And hopefully the error code should have pissed off. Right, I've sorted the fuses out. Hopefully now, I don't know if I'll have to actually delete any error codes. No, there you go, lovely. Ooh. But obviously, driving it with wheels in the air does annoy it quite a bit. Whisk it in, whoa. It does like a little panic.
Sheriff, this is no time to panic.
Right, internal clean I think, because I keep finding parking tickets everywhere. Oh, obviously not tickets that you get when you've parked wrong. I mean the ones you pay and display tickets, that's one. And there's quite a lot of stuff. And if any of it's damaged, I have got brand new carpet right there. Cleaning. Well, it wasn't actually really that dirty, it was just mainly dust and stuff that you normally get stuck in this sort of pile. There's a slight worn bit of carpet there, obviously where the heel rests on there for the brake. I might put in the new carpet. If I can get hold of the original owner, I'm going to have to ask her what was with all the green glitter. My God, it's absolutely everywhere. And I found another 20p and another 5p that was underneath the carpet that got sucked into the hoover, and a bell for some reason. I'm going to carry on wiping stuff down, get all this off the windscreen as well. And again, a few funny marks on the fabric, a bit of dirt and plastic. I use a bit of a waterless wash bucket, that'll do. And me find this glitter forever now. My girlfriend's going to think I'm seeing a stripper or something. Another one, another one. If you have one of these big storage bins, go in the centre console, you can take the insert out, and it's got like elastic in it. Can't really see very well, can you? There you go, elastic. Imagine it's just to like keep a cup straight or something. If that breaks, it seems to be fairly easy. Just have to get some more. Goes in there, goes across there, goes across there, comes back out there. So you just need to get some more bungee. Right, found some old mats. I took out my old 451. It's quite nice, ribbed. That'll protect the little area where your heel tends to rub through the carpet. Astonish carpet upholstery cleaner. Well, I don't know how well this comes out, but obviously because it's patterned, it's quite hard to see, but a few sort of stains and I don't know if it's watermark or maybe coffee's been placed there or something and dripped. We'll give this a go. Well, okay, that looks new. Apart from the green glitter. There must be something to do with a child and something they've made at Christmas. It's got to be. I didn't actually think it's going to get anywhere as good as that. I thought I was going to have to put covers on it just to cover up the stains, but they're actually fine. And I'll put the dirty covers on to cover up the good seats. There's not so many stains on this one. A couple of there. Obviously things been dropped between the legs. Probably food, looking at the food that's behind the seat. So we'll give that a little clean, and we'll pull the seats forward and vacuum out everything else we can find. I mean, it's no miracle worker, but you still very slightly see that one there. Very slightly there, but we can always get the big guns out if I really need to. I did notice this, the little bit wear from where the seatbelt rubs, which is quite strange actually, because for it to rub there, she must have been tiny. Used to clip her seatbelt and not wear it properly. I wouldn't have thought so, but yeah, I think she was just very petite and didn't really go out that far. I'm not much sure I'm going to do about that, because these fabric heated seats, they're quite rare, so I'm going to replace them. I'll just put a bit of dye in there or something, make it look good. Although I've got the seat covers over there somewhere, so I'm going to throw those in. When it comes to cleaning loop pile carpet, you'll find that a lot of things get stuck in it because it's loops. You can tell it's looped because it's like the opposite of Velcro, and it sticks to it. Best thing to do, get yourself a stiff bristle brush, or even the wire brush, and just go over it, and you can see already. So it extracts everything out of the loop, and then you can run your vacuum cleaner over it. Right, as is always the case, the boot sides always get a little bit scuffed and dirty, so I'm going to give those a little clean as well. I'll take this out so we can give it a clean. What? That's always a worry. Do not drink. Yeah, there's no chance of that. I'm not going to randomly drink things I find in somebody's car. There's got all this stuff floating in it as well. Got another question for the owner. What? See, something's been put in the boot and it's rubbed against the side there and taken the paint back. I don't think anything's going to help that. More paint. More Grease Ape products, still not sponsored. If you want to sponsor me, feel free. We're going to find anything else beyond this one? No, disappointing. Maybe I'll find a stool sample to go with the other sample. Well, all I can say is for a 14-year-old car, been looked after really well. Double click that. It shows you 6,600 miles until the next service. So I'm presuming it's been done. The last service in the book was 2022, April. But at least it was done by somebody reasonable. Sasha has dealt with this car for 3 years at least. And then some dead man. And then Ford, oh my God, what? Another Ford. Because people panic about their warranties. Smart and smart. Pool. So because I've got no proof that it's been done, even though it says on the speedo it's got 6,500 miles, I will do a full service. And I did buy all the service parts, but I don't actually know where I put them. Oh no, I do. There we go. Bosch filter, Dento plugs, got an air filter and a cabin filter. I've already got lots of proper oil, even the correct brand as well. Okay, even though we've put a new start motor in the car, I obviously don't know the heritage or the history of it, so we're going to have a little go at sorting this one out. Now this was the old brush set. Obviously the bit of cable that comes out that joins to the solenoid had totally corroded through. So I've got myself a replacement there, exactly the same. All the brushes are being held in by this little circle here, so don't pull it out until you really need to. Okay, it's obvious which way it goes round because that's curved, so that sits in that way round. Now what you need to do is if you pull this back just enough, you look at the brushes in there, don't push it back too far. You push it back enough so you get the brushes sitting halfway up. You can place it onto the motor. Alright, so that's out, that's on the motor. Just make sure that the rubber part goes into position properly, like so. Now it's seated all the way home. Right, the back has got a little cutout so it's obvious where it goes. Just see it home. Make sure it lines up with the screw. Put the 2 screws in lightly. Give it a little shuffle to make sure it seats properly. And get the long ones. These go on that side. These go all the way through. They go through the casing and actually bolt onto the housing at the front. And these are 8mm. So the screws hold the plate that holds the brushes in position, and these hold the back to the motor. Remember to get a screwdriver on that and tighten down properly. Right, the other good thing about this one is it's got a protective sleeve, but you'll notice that whereas these ones are actually copper and will corrode, these ones have been plated. It's also got a little bit of a cover on it, so hopefully this one is much less likely to corrode and fall apart. Although if you want to, you can always put a little bit of grease on it, just protects it. Right, now we've got a replacement solenoid. The sizes you need are the bolt holes. This has got 4, but you only actually need 2, and that lip on the inside there, and the length. Now this one is very slightly longer, but I'm hoping it's going to work okay. And what you need to do is that little fork there, you need to slide that peg into there, and that will lock in. Okay, the solenoid actuator goes inside. Placing the bolt, placing the other bolt. Right, just make sure that with the bendix facing downwards, the trigger connection is facing upwards. Now you are going to have to mess around, and I think that's a bit longer than standard. Yeah, I've had to put a little kink in it. Shouldn't affect it. Yeah, it's all tightened up. That's a 13mm. Now that should be ready to go. We can give it a test. Right, again, I've attached the earth. Just going to tap this against the solenoid trigger. That should spit out to there and start spinning. Perfect. Right, I just want to make it quite clear. I'm not short. This is just lifted up in the air by 1.5 feet. I'm going to try and clear off some of this stuff. Sometimes it's not bad, sometimes it's fucking horrendous. I've had fun with these labels before as well. They're not really designed to come off. And we'll start with the standard waterless wash. Nope. And now we'll try with brake cleaner. Grease ape. Not sponsored. Oh, here we go. Previously, before using Grease Ape's excellent products, I used to use a scraper, which could get a little bit scary. Oh, that made light work of that. So thanks Grease Ape, hopefully sponsoring a future episode. And next, Copart. These stickers only need to stay on for a couple of weeks. That will be in landfill, still rotting down after I'm dead. Let's see how the Grease Ape brake cleaner does with sticky stuff. Oh, hang on. Yeah, better than expected. Normally, before using Grease Ape's brilliant products, I'd normally use WD-40 and a scraper, and it'd work out fine, apart from the scraper bit. But then at the end of it, you had a very greasy windscreen. With this brake cleaner, my brakes have never been so clean. Yeah, not bad. The windscreen's got very, very slight chip there and a scratch up there. Not from the windscreen wipers, because they go the opposite direction. So it's probably jumped up the windscreen and hit it. But what I'm going to do now is there used to be something stuck to the inside of the windscreen. It's left a big blotchy print. So hopefully Grease Ape products to the rescue again. There you go. I'm not wearing the t-shirt today, but Grease Ape. Not a sponsor. Now, one thing to know. If you've got a finish like this, not glossy, matte, if you've got scratches, can you see those? Yeah, just about all the way along there, pretty much from about there to about there. So you can see the woman was right-handed, probably had fake nails, and every time she opened it, just drag it along the paint. Now the issue is, you can't polish this, because then it will stop turning matte and it will start turning gloss. So there's not much you can do, but give it a good clean. If you can get any of that stuff out of the scratches, that's a good start. You know, I don't mind using a bit of clay and some quick detailer. Sometimes that works. Now, normally, because I'm 6'2", I can reach the top of the windscreen, but as again lifted, I've got one of these. These are really designed for cleaning the inside of your windscreen, where you can get right down to the edge of the dashboard. but works alright in this scenario. It doesn't take much cleaning for you to realise that the inside of the screen is actually the dirtiest. There definitely used to be something stuck on the inside of the screen here as well. There you go, shiny, shiny. Only on the outside. Still a bit, shut up, still a bit grimy on the inside. I'm going to treat the windscreen. I normally use Aquapel. Bought some of this stuff, Quick View, which comes with big fold out instructions that aren't even bloody instructions. Waste of time. Because that's what you want doing it. Have to scan a bloody QR code just to watch how it works. Right, before you start thinking about servicing the car, best thing to do is get up to temperature. That'll get the oil up to temperature and it'll drain out a lot easier. You get a lot more out of it. As you can see, I'm indoors, so running a car indoors, not the best idea. So what I've got is inline fan. It's going to suck all of the crap out. It's only a vent axle one. It's one I use for laser cutting. So it's designed for smoke and crap. So I'll turn it on. Got it set up with a guitar stand facing directly towards it. And it'll be quite obvious if I can smell the emissions, then I'll know that. If not, I can always move it a bit closer or adjust it and see where the emissions are going. So, let the car heat up for a bit. Oh, it's been running about 5 minutes and I can't smell any of the emissions in here. About here. Christ. Yep. Belt's seem fine. And you can tell it's warmed up just by touching the oil filter. It's up to about 40 degrees now, I reckon. Should touch the sump as well, it's about the same. I've been running about 10 minutes, still sounds alright. It's up to temperature, so I'm going to start draining the oil. Yeah, 10mm Allen key, take it out and let it drain. This was a 4 litre container, cut the side out of it. Car should only contain about 3.5 litres of oil. Try not to get it absolutely everywhere else. Also a good idea to remove the oil filler cap just to allow the air to pass through it. It helps it clear a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit. And then just leave it for 10-15 minutes just to stop doing the morning wee sound. Right, while that continues to sound like it's got a prostate problem, take the wee in the morning, let me tell you all about oil. For years and years, Mercedes used MB 229.3, and then when Smart started, they updated all their oils and they used MB 229.5. I won't worry too much about that number. It's a bit of an argumentative topic, but I don't recommend going for 0W oil. It's too thin unless you live in a really cold climate. Ideally 5W, 10W. The issue now is if you type in MB 229.5 into somewhere like Amazon, whatever, it will come up with a lot of oils that claim MB 229.5, which is fine. The issue is there's also an MB 229.51, which is designed for the CDI with DPF. Now that oil has got reduced SAPs, which is sulfur, ash, phosphor and something else, and that is really bad oil. It's all the SAP stuff is what lubricates the engine. That's the stuff they put in as additives to make it better. So they've removed all that stuff just because it will clog up the DPF. Now the issue is people seem to think that 0.51 makes it better. It doesn't, it makes it worse. And the issue is that a lot of the stuff you buy on Amazon and places like that now says low SAPs. If it says low SAPs, it's shit. Just steer well clear of it. This stuff don't say anything about low SAPs, so it's fine. Yeah, they claim it works. Of course it works. You can stick any oil into it and it'll work for a while, but the low SAPs stuff is shit. And it looks like Mercedes are trying to say that 0.51 is good for all smarts now, and I would recommend wholly against that. Right, that's the sump plug, and what seals it is a ring. Now from standard that will be copper, and although smarts say fit a new one each time, you can just heat it up cherry red, allow it to cool down, because every time you compress copper it hardens slightly, and eventually what will happen is it'll crack and obviously then let all your oil out. But if you heat it up with a flame until it goes red and then let it cool down, it softens the material again, you can reuse it again. Now this one, aftermarket, feels like aluminium. It's not magnetic. Same thing again, it does work harden. Now this one I've got on the car at the moment is aftermarket, it's aluminium, but again, aluminium does work harden. So you could heat it up, let it cool down again. This one's actually quite badly stamped out. It's got horrible lips all over it. So instead of using that, if I can't find a proper copper washer in my pile of shit, I do have these bonded washers, which are, I think these are steel. They're steel casing with rubber inserts. So obviously it's the rubber that does the sealing. As long as I've got the right size, of course. Yeah, perfect. So I'll probably use a bonded seal if I can't find a copper one. Right, I've been through my part straw. I found a brand new one, so I'll just use that. You bend it really easy by hand, so I know it's malleable enough to use that one. Keep a decent bonded washers for another time. But that one, I can get stored in there. Right, it's dripping fairly slowly now, so I think I'm done waiting. Always starting by hand, don't do them with a rattle gun. The torque that Smart recommends is something ridiculous, like 65 newton meters, which I think is a bit excessive, to be honest.
Damn, dude, that's tight.
But that's up to you. If you want to use that, use that. But all I've done is just nipped it up, gave it a little whack, and I'll monitor it. And if it needs anything more, I'll give it a little bit more. Right, now that's out. The first thing you must remember to do is put the oil in it, because it's very easy to do this and then start taking all the other fluids out and changing that and then forgetting to put the oil back in. Trouble.
We are in deep shit.
And the next bit depends. Are you good at aiming a stream of fluid into a hole? Don't say you are. I've been watching you use the public toilets.
Wait, what?
And I know I'm going to miss, so I'm going to get a funnel, I think. Right, I've got a few different types of funnel. It's probably the easiest one to use. It has a little mesh in there, so if you're using Mobile 1, it'll catch all the bits of chip that are left over in it when they make it. As you can tell, I've got no respect for Mobile 1 oil whatsoever, because it's absolute shit. Right, a lot of the oil containers have a little sight glass on the side. The car takes 3.5 litres. I've got just over 3.5 litres, so I'm going to stick most of it in. We'll go from there. Right, just double checked, 3.4 litres, not 3.5. So I'm still going to stick most of it in. Blup, 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 blup. And yes, I know you can turn it sideways and not make it go blup, 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 but I've got a funnel, so I don't care.
I don't want to seem over dramatic, but I don't really care what happens here.
I've got about a litre left. I'm just going to let that settle in and take a reading. Remember, obviously, although the engine takes 3.4 litres, you're never going to have got all of that out. There's still going to be some in the galleries, some in the old oil filter, some in the turbo, that sort of stuff. So you're never going to want to put 3.4 litres in because you haven't got all that out. You can, of course, if you know that the level was fine, you could measure how much you've taken out and put back in exactly what you've taken out. Not that bothered.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I'm going to go and fit the oil filter. I'm not taking you down there because my tripod doesn't actually go that low for some reason. And sometimes the car was previously serviced by the Hulk. So you're going to need some sort of way to get it off, because this one is severely over-tightened. And I'm sure some of you are saying, why did you put new oil in and then change the filter? It doesn't come out. It's not fucking magic. Now obviously it wouldn't be an oil change unless you managed to accidentally kick that, knock some of it over, drop the sump plug in there, and then whilst trying to drain the old filter out, also drop that in there as well. So that was fun. This is the filter I used, Bosch P7089. I imagine it's exactly the same as what came off it, except it was also Bosch, but since it's at the bottom of the Black Lagoon at the moment, I can't really tell you. Don't start pouring that down waterways. What I do is generally put it into an old container of some sort, and then you just take it down your local tip at some point. And when I say some point, I mean you should actually go down there at some point, because that's 20 litres almost full up. That's 20 litres, probably half full. That one's empty, that's a drain one. That's about half full. That's mostly full. So maybe at some point 2030 I might drop these down a municipal dump. All right, that's been sitting around long enough. Take it out, give your dipstick a good old clean. Make sure it's all clear of oil. That might skew the readings. All right, there you go, you can see it's about halfway up. Sounds good. I don't know why. I'd like to have been in the meeting when they said, okay, what we need to do, we need to create a stick that goes into the engine that you can read to see how deep the oil is. What colour is oil? Okay, it's like a golden yellow colour. What colour should we make the dipstick? I know. Let's make it really fucking hard to read by making it the same colour. Pricks.
I'm an inconsiderate prick!
Never take just one reading. Yeah, that's lovely. A little turn on, leave it running for a couple of minutes, turn it back off again, and then do another check. Give it a couple of minutes after you've turned it off, obviously, otherwise things have moved around a little bit. Just because you've still got to fill up the oil filter Some of the galleries may have drained slightly, which won't get filled up from just pouring it in from the top. So don't just presume that the level is okay. So let's do that. Let's have it running for a bit. The oil light might come on for a second or so on the dash. If it stays on, turn the car off immediately. You can see it's gone off, it's fine. Because it has to build up pressure to turn the oil pressure switch off. Ran it for 60 seconds, left it for 2 minutes just to settle down. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's still on there, maybe a third of the way up. Might throw a little bit more in. And then we'll move around to the front and let me show you something interesting. We've got 2 bits of kit now. This is brake fluid tester. Fairly simple to use. Take your top off, even says on there .4, power it on, make sure it's on .4. You put the reading head into your fluid and it tells you what your percentage is. So currently it's just over 1.5% water in this brake fluid, which is a little high, hence the exclamation mark. So I'll probably have to do a little brake flush through that. Put a bit of new fluid through it. That was the amount that was in the brake fluid reservoir. Actually, it doesn't look too bad to be honest, but I've seen much worse. Last stuff I took out was like, well, you imagine. Yeah, because there's no point in flushing the old stuff through the system. You may as well take out what's already in there, fill up with new stuff and flush the new stuff through the system. If your brake fluid isn't new, it's worth checking before you put it in there. Because I got given this one by my neighbour. Of just clearing that garage, you want this? Oh, fair enough. It's actually worse than the shit I've just taken out. I'm going to go for me big old .4, which is getting there. It's up to like 1.2 at the moment. Be very careful about where you get that stuff. It's not the most favourite for paint. Okay, now the next bit. Make sure the car is cooled down enough before you undo the coolant tank, otherwise it explodes and kills you. And we can also do the washer fluid as well. This isn't a torch device. This is a refractometer, and very simple. You place a dot of the fluid you want to inspect on that sight glass. You close it down, hold that up against the light, stare through that, and I'll show you what's in it. Hang on a second. On the right hand side you can see that's washer fluid. That means it will freeze about 3 degrees. Yeah, because this is summer screen wash. The winter screen wash will probably be up near 15s, 20s. Yeah, make sure it's all squidged through. Okay, and now you can see there we're using the middle scale, and that is going to freeze at about -50 C, obviously. So that's fine. It certainly helps to tell you whether or not the fluid is any good or not, if it needs replacing. I was going to do a gearbox fluid change, but yeah, unfortunately it's 2.4 litres. I don't have 2.4 litres. And the 451, it requires 75/90 gearbox oil. If you ask, and somebody says Dexron 3, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And Dexron 3 was for the 450 and Roadster. That is oil. This is fluid. It's a big difference. This has got a whole bunch of shit in it. I can link you to another video that shows you that this is a lot more fluid than that is. So don't put that in a 451. Do have enough of that I don't. So I'm going to have to go over to Halfords or something, or Euro Car Parts or something like that, to go and get some 75/90. Right, the air filter is a Bosch 0144. 7mm. Brute force. Clip. There's that. There's one underneath that you always forget. One on the side. Lift and slide. Old filter. Yeah, probably it's only done 6,000 miles. Also Bosch. Exactly the same part number. And when you put this back in, you notice these tabs, you have to slide those in and then push it down. Otherwise, you put it in, you'll clip these fronts in, and this will still be open at that side. Don't forget the middle one. Spark plugs. 451 has coil packs on the plugs, so you have to remove the 10mm bolt that holds it down, disconnect the wires, and push the clip and pull the housing, which at this angle, quite hard. Don't pull by the wires. Leave it all. Right, 3 connectors. Now it doesn't really matter which order these go in, so we need to make sure the bolts are out, and then they should pull out fairly easily. There you go, it's a coil pack. The spark plug just sits on the end of it. It's worth giving a clean. Make sure they're not burnt, melted, covered in oil or water. Dusty but all good. I'll give those a little clean up. Right, because of the access, is pretty shit. You need wobbly. Now for some reason I don't seem to have a spark plug socket that fits. So I've got myself a 16, put a bit of electrical tape in it just to grip the outside as it goes in there. Got universal joint there, short extension. And then they can go down. Yeah, it's on the spark plug, and you undo it and pull the other one out. These were very loose. Once you've loosened them, you can take the ratchet off and just do it by hand. There you go. They put in NGK's LKR 7B9. They smell alright. Gap seems fine. Not an unusual colour. Burnt on the top there. It could have been arcing. So I'm replacing with Denso XU22 HDR9s. Now what you don't want to do is just drop that straight into the hole. So if it bends that over, it'll not be in a correct gap. If it's new, put it in and then do a quarter turn. And if it's old, if you're refitting the old one, then just put it in finger tight as you possibly can finger tight, and then a 1/16 of a turn. You know, I don't think a lot of people have torque wrenches that go down as low as these. I've always just done a finger tight and then quarter turn, and it's always been fine. That's number 2 done. Yeah, I've put them in, gave them a little time. What I did was tighten them up as much as I could by hand without spinning the handle. You know, and you just feel it. As soon as it starts to bind, as soon as it gets tight, quarter turn, that's it, leave it alone. Because what you don't want is next time you come to it, you snap them off. Now, another thing that people do, electrical jointing compound, it just stops excessive arcing. You don't need to put much in, just like Vaseline, if anything, just a little bit in the end, and that will also keep the rubber nice and fresh and keep the connection to the spark plug decent as well. It's also worth, depending on how grotty and grimy your engine is, you can always put a little bit around there as well, just to help it slide in. And they've got a little spring in the end of the coil pack, so as you push it in, you feel resistance, and it'll pop back out slightly. Get it in position, and then try your hardest to get the bolt in. Then you just need to reconnect it. It's quite obvious which ones go where, because they're all in line. The hardest one is to get the end one in. I can do most things through sense of touch, and sometimes you just have to have a bit of light. Give the engine a little turn over to make sure it actually runs and fires and works properly. Yep, sounds fine. So thankfully we can now wrap up everything in the engine bay. Goodbye engine. When they did the 450, I thought that was bad enough to change the cabin filter on. I was wrong. It's very easy to get to the door. Getting the old one out is a bit of a pain because you can't really get your fingernail behind it. Prying tool. There's a lot of bits of tree and stuff in there, but get a prying tool in there. Lever it out. You won't be able to see this because I can barely bloody see it. But then you get it out about 3 inches, and then there's a wiring loom in the way. So that's nice. See, that would slide out a lot easier if that massive boa constrictor fucking wiring loom was not there. Fortunately, it is there, and it doesn't really move that much. Now, considering that the filter needs to come out that far. Smart, what were you thinking? And when you do put it in, make sure the airflow goes in the right direction. I'm going to battle with this. Best thing to do, just bend it. There you go. So, puts a little banana in it, but that is filth. And you can see the amount of stuff that's in it as well. I'm going to get the vacuum on that first, and then fit the new one. Yeah, fitted, didn't have to move anything, tidied up, done. And in case you're keeping track, the Bosch cabin filter for 451 is R2499. Right, nice simple service. Now for the next video, what should we do? Because I'm thinking this. Let's see if you can. If you know, you know. And if these make any sense to you, you've probably spoiled it for next week. What could it be? And although I've had these for a while, no, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be wide enough.